Oh, there's Rick.
Hi, everybody. You know, I'm supposed to be happy that we won this game. I want to tell you something. This is the reason why Greg Williams can't be the head coach. This is the reason, and I put an asterisk next to Freddie Kitchens because you know something? I saw Freddie Kitchens' lips moving, but I heard Greg Williams' voice coming out. This is inexcusable. Inexcusable. Totally delinquent. This is the type of thing that, in my opinion, keeps a team a loser. A little Nancy boy. You take the ball out of the hands of Baker Mayfield and you stop trying to gain yards. From the beginning of the second half to the end of the game, you're taking a knee. I don't want Greg Williams as my head coach. I don't want him. And Freddie Kitchens, all I'm going to say is I want to know who was responsible for calling the plays that were called in the second half of that football game. And if Freddie Kitchens called him, was it because Williams told him? This is a defensive coordinator bullshit move, and we found damn near a way to lose this football game because of these idiots. And I'm tired of these idiots. Do you realize this is a divisional opponent who has smoked us 7 straight times? This is a team with Vontae Burfict, the human injury machine, who has taken our players out. This should have been a 52-7 football game. You got Hue Jackson on the other sideline, and you should be shoving the football as far up his ass as you humanly can.
Right next to his challenge.
God, let him jump in another goddamn lake. You know? I don't need this crap.
Got way too conservative there at the end.
This is Derek, our new panelist. How you doing, buddy?
I'm excited that I finally got this thing working after trying. So finally got it.
Hey, you know, life is a challenge. Just ask Greg Williams. It's a challenge getting one first down, you know, when you stop trying. There's nothing to talk about. You know, I sit here, hi, bitter truth. I mean, you're as pissed off as I am, aren't you? I don't see a big smile on your face.
I have nothing to be upset about, but I am wiping away sweat because that, you know, almost came down to the wire.
Only because we made it. We made it that way. It's because they're afraid to lose. It's not the players. That's the coaches.
But you know what? I think the beauty of the game outside of the score was Hue Jackson having the same look on his face when he was here, costing us games with his horrible coaching decisions.
Yeah, and the new coaches damn near did the same thing. I'm sorry. I mean, this isn't revenge on Hue. Revenge on Hue was 52-7, was to come out in the second half and stick it in his ass. That is what you do to Hue Jackson after what he did to Cleveland for 3 damn years. That's what you do.
I was hoping they would run it up.
Well,
but you know, the Browns, I put it like this. In the first half, the offensive game plan was, of course, to throw the ball. And as you can see in the second half, the Bengals were still running the same defense, which was to stop Nick Chubb because they thought he was the key. So the Browns, of course, stopped throwing the ball in the second half, and they played right into the Bengals' defensive hands, which almost, of course, cost them the game. Of course, it killed me that this young team, this young defense, they relaxed. They thought the game was over, and there was nothing that Greg Williams could do to get them to get their heads back in the game.
Well,
so
once you take,
they have to work on.
You know something, and once you and by the way, Hammer Time, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Jim Hammer from Columbus, Ohio, another longtime bovine Moohead radio listener. I'll tell you what this is. You can sit there and you can point to the defense, but you know, it was already told to the team by what the offense wasn't doing that there wasn't going to be, you know, and here's the thing. And I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful about a win, but I want to point out something so that, and nobody will point this out in the Cleveland press because they're, they got their heads up their rear ends. You're trying to call a second half that's safe, okay? The only thing is, you're just handing the ball off. You're trying to let the clock run out from the minute that you got that early second half score, you were trying to run the clock out, right? Right.
Yeah.
And so you're running everything.
Well, here's the thing.
Well, wait, Derek. Let me finish this point, and then I'll let you comment. Here's the thing that really throws me for a loop.
Settle down.
It's okay. On one hand, you have the safe play call, yet you throw an end around pitch backwards to a wide receiver. Somebody explain to me, like I'm not mentally deficient, how in the hell you could even be saying you're calling a safe game and call that ridiculous pitch to Perriman. How can you do it?
You know what it was? The Bengals were overrunning the running plays. They were over pursuing Nick Chubb, so they thought that they could go ahead and sneak that in there. But that's a play that you run on 1st and 10, 2nd and 6, not on 3rd and 10 when you need a critical first down.
No, you know something? When you have the best rookie quarterback in the NFL who just sniped him in the first half and you're 3rd and 6, you let him throw the fucking football downfield because he's completing 80% of his goddamn passes.
Yeah.
God,
because you know what? The little sideline routes, they were working all day where they just ran the L pattern. They were killing the Bengals with that.
And over the middle, Callaway had so much time that he caught the ball over the middle, stopped and changed directions and headed upfield. I mean, for God's sakes, there was no coverage. All right, Derek, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What do you have to say, Derek? I want you to get in here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it blows my mind that Baker can come out and be consistent, looking like a veteran as a rookie, completing passes, big-time passes, hard passes. And you come out of the second half, you start aggressive, and you come out of the second half, and you're going to run the ball. And, I mean, it's different if Chubb's going for 5-10 yards every run, and I'm not saying he has to, but when you're consistently getting stopped at the line, you don't keep running. And you don't do end-around trick plays when you got your quarterback who's doing phenomenal. You just can't let off the gas.
You know, it almost looked like to me that Freddie Kitchens was told you're going to keep the ball on the ground and Baker's not going to throw the ball. So Freddie decided to do one of his ooh-la-la end-arounds that never works, okay? That's what it looked like to me. I mean, it's disjointed. It didn't even make sense.
The Hue Jackson wrinkle. That's what I'm going to start calling those plays. The Hue Jackson wrinkles, the ones that don't work. Little cute plays that don't work.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no reason to call. It's not a safe call either. I mean, pitching the ball backwards is about the dumbest thing you could do that would result in an absolute disaster. Hammer, what do you make of this second half? I mean, does this convince you that Greg Williams has talked himself out of a head coaching job?
What?
I don't know. Can you guys even hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think I don't think he's totally talked himself out of that head coaching job. I think he's still got a chance, and especially if they continue on this kind of a streak, the way that they're playing, I think he's got a great chance of keeping it. It was disappointing that they didn't keep the pedal down, but in the long run of it, you have to play these guys twice a year. It's not going to be quite, I was hoping for 62 again. I was like, 62 seems like my number now. I was feeling that 62. So I thought, especially the way it started off, I'm like, hey, let's just keep going. Probably the best thing that happened for the Bengals was Dalton getting knocked out of the game.
But we
were kidding.
Well, yeah, but we were playing a guy who hadn't played but 3 times in his life in the pros, and we made him look like Tom Brady because we put no pressure on him. How many more sacks can Myles Garrett miss when he's unblocked?
Yeah,
I mean, but when he does sack the guy, he gets a 15-yard fucking roughing the passer penalty that automatically leads to a magic carpet ride to the end zone.
Yeah.
That wasn't him. That was Avery. Avery
that
was
was-
quarterback.
Avery cut him. Avery cut him low.
Yeah.
They went
Garrett would have sacked him, but Avery cut him low, and they got called for the penalty. First
Right.
time I ever saw Cleveland do a prevent offense the second half. Gee, many Christmas.
I mean, it's clear what they were trying to do was to try to establish the run, and Cincinnati's record as far as this year against the run, they're the worst in the league. So, you're thinking, hey, we're going to be able to do it. But when there's 11 guys and they know what you're doing, they know you're going to run the ball. I mean, they're going to come after you. So.
Yeah, but can I tell you something? They didn't give up 52 points against the Saints by the Saints running the football. Let's be honest about this. And we didn't score 28 points in the first half running the football. All of those carries that Nick Chubb accumulated were all second half carries, the vast number of them, because they were designed to go nowhere, but just to try to chew clock. It's just, and one thing that, and I know Bitter Truth is upset that I said that about Greg Williams, but just remember, if not for a premature snap and an illegal shift, the Bengals were on the 3-yard line and ready to go in.
Down by if they'd have scored, they'd have just been down by 8.
And our special teams,
one more possession and 2 more scores. And yes, the special teams was garbage.
Yeah, special teams were giving up long returns.
Yeah, 54 yards on 2 returns. Yet the best we can do on a goddamn kickoff is 7 yards. When you field the ball at the 9.
Well, most of the time, the NFL people aren't returning the kickoffs anyway. So the fact that they got anything that was kind of a pooch play. That whole thing was there, but the special teams all year have been atrocious outside of Colquitt, and obviously there's going to be a change there down the line.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess what bothers me about the whole thing is how close. I mean, that ball goes up in the air, and the guy catches it on the 3-yard line, and it's, here we go again. They're going to go in immediately for the score. They're going to kick the onside kick. We're going to fumble it into their hands. We're going to lose. We've seen this happen a gazillion times before. And the reason it happens is the same reason every time. We have a bozo defensive coordinator, head coach, who has no faith in offensive football, and he puts all of his stock in his goofy gambling defensive schemes or whatever he's going to do. And we've seen it time and time again in Cleveland. It was Patton, defensive guy. Schottenheimer, defensive guy. We had to sit and watch Marty fuck up because he lost his offensive coordinator. He said, well, I'll take over these responsibilities. And so the legend of Bernie Kosar in Cleveland ended. The fact of the matter is that defensive coordinators are defensive coordinators for a reason. Greg Williams was 17-31 as a head coach for a reason. And this is inexcusable to me because today we get away with it, okay? But tomorrow we're not going to be so lucky. I don't believe that after everything that Baker Mayfield has done, that this coaching staff does not have any more confidence in him than that.
Who's up next?
Mm-hmm.
Texans. You play my team.
We play the Texans.
Yeah, you play my team.
I put it to you like this because we could go back and forth on the whole Greg Williams things, but if we beat the Texans, will you ease up on Greg Williams? Will you at least give him a chance?
Well, it's a matter of him auditioning right now, Bitter Truth.
Okay.
I mean,
if he wins,
this is his audition.
Will you give him a chance? Will you at least give him some credit?
You know something? If you audition for American Idol and you fart in the middle of your song, you're not gonna make the show. Okay? Okay. I mean,
It makes for good ratings.
Yeah, it's like, wow, it's the musical fruit. Yeah.
Hey, I tell you what.
And we got Carolina on the schedule too. That isn't going to be very easy either.
Well, Carolina
in your audition.
Seattle in the most dumbest way possible.
It's hard to win on the road, and we've proven that historically. We've proven that.
And why would we have a team that the Steelers put 59 points on?
Steelers just had a field goal block.
Leonard Fournette got ejected. What?
Yeah,
it was a big fight in that Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than ejaculated anyway. Yeah.
I tell you what, though, Deshaun Watson, if we don't stay consistent and we don't, if we let up on the gas on Houston, Deshaun Watson, they're going to go all over.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that's going to be a Deshaun Watson running for his life, gas by the middle of the third quarter type of game, based on how our defense plays, because they can get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
When did they get to the quarterback today? Was I watching a different game than you?
Oh no, Myles Garrett was getting held on practically every single.
Oh, don't go there! Don't go there. He had
I know you saw that. You mean to tell me you didn't see that? That left tackle was holding him on practically every single play.
Well, I can see that we have now a whole new guy to be apologistic for. It's Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett had Andy Dalton sacked, let him get away, run for 21 yards that directly resulted in a touchdown before the end of the first half. Myles Garrett had a clean run that Ogbuechi did not block him at the offensive line, and he reached out with his hand, and the quarterback got away again. I'm watching him on 3 different occasions flat out miss sacks, easy sacks where he was unblocked. All right.
How many pressures did he have today?
Oh, he had a lot.
Yeah, he had a lot.
Here's the question.
He had a lot.
No, wait a minute. But they passed every down at the end of the game. They were passing, and he didn't get to the quarterback. The Browns didn't sack this rookie. They didn't even pressure him in most instances.
And when they blitzed, they didn't even get much pressure on him. They were picking up the blitz.
That's right.
So
I
here's
know
your chance to pin your ears back with Agba and Garrett, and here's your chance to really do it. And they're throwing the ball, and we never really got to him. So there's definitely some disappointment there.
All Deshaun's are not created equal. There's Deshaun and there's Deshaun, and there's a big freaking difference. Okay, and no, Deshaun Kaiser, you don't have to worry about him. But Watson is somebody. Yeah, you give him that kind of time. You're so screwed. You're so screwed. And he's a big guy. He's harder to bring down. He's going to be, So look, I'm not. All I'm saying is Greg Williams is auditioning for a job, and to me, you go dominant when you have a chance to be dominant. You go dominant. You go after these guys, and you put your foot down, and you crush their sternum. This is Vontae's perfect. Don't you remember what all of these teams did to you when you were losing all those games in a row? Don't you realize that these players need a catharsis to go out and stomp somebody in the ground to get even with what's happened in the past 2.5 years under Hue Jackson with this organization? And you call the dogs off, literally?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
No.
I think probably because Greg Williams, it's only his second year as a Browns coach. So he's not really, he doesn't feel it like we feel it, So
about time he got started.
Yeah, I mean, this is
Hey, Mr. Moohead, look on the bright side. You beat my Rockets yesterday. I didn't even watch any of the game. I thought it was an automatic win.
How about that?
You told me we lost to the Cavs. I said, "Are you kidding me?" And I checked the score and I said, "Oh my God."
Yeah, I mean, the fact is, if you show up and don't play, you're not going to win. And I don't know what. Here's the deal. Before the game, Demarius Randall gave them all the locker room fodder that they needed. All right. All that they needed. We're going to kick their ass if AJ Green doesn't play. The guy caught the first pass from Dalton, and he got up and he got and barked in Randall's face. The next thing you know, Randall's intercepted a pass and is handing the ball to Hue Jackson. Okay, that's the next thing you know. And then they quit. They basically just gave up. All right. Any team that gives up deserves to lose 52-7. Sorry.
Wow.
Whew.
Hey, Mr. Moohead, you are aware that my Texans have not lost in 60 days. I mean, assuming if we win tomorrow, that's 8 in a row since starting the season 0-3, which is pretty good. And that's going to be a true testament for you guys. Like, are you going to be able to stop the hot rod Texans, Or the
Is it the Titans tomorrow?
Yeah, Monday night.
Play Titans tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, here's something good. Luke Delita in the chat room. Dude, quit complaining. You sound like my wife.
Oh,
Wow.
Well, that's what you get for marrying Jewish.
That's what I was going to say, man.
Better hope she's not watching.
You know, the only way this guy can tell that his wife is having an orgasm is if she drops her nail file.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, what?
Are you slightly interested in seeing a Hopkins versus Ward matchup? Do you think that's what you guys are going to put on Hopkins?
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's
I'm
what you're
looking
going to
forward
have
to
to
that
do.
matchup. Personally, my opinion.
That'd be nice.
And the guy doesn't even like my headphones. Yeah, I agree with him, too. Yeah. Hey, will that shit on Delita here in the chat room? I'm just curious.
I'm also wondering how y'all's run game is going to be in terms of going against Watt and going against Merciless and Clowney and all that.
Yeah, well, you know, the running game was not impressive, but we
Wow.
were totally predictable. And I you can't blame Nick Chubb when we've just shown our hand to the opposition that all we're going to do is run the ball up the middle. And I mean, at that point, and honestly, I honestly believe that everybody got stale and cold on the sidelines while the Bengals. I mean, take a look at the. I'm going to do this because God damn. Get that dog fixed.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah.
You
got him
must
all
have spotted
excited.
a raccoon.
You got
Oh,
him
hey,
excited, though. He's
Black Rob, if
fired
you're
up.
listening, you got to join on your laptop because it's hard to join on your cell phone. He wants to know how to get in on your cell phone.
It don't work on your cell phone. I've
It don't
tried
work.
10 times.
You got to get on your laptop.
Yeah, it doesn't work, unfortunately, like it's supposed to. That's not me. That's YouTube, you know.
Yeah.
And Jay Morgan saying they keep winning like this, they could be a nice surprise. Let's talk about how they can upset a lot of teams going forward. All right. The first way is to play 4 quarters of football. And I say this, I mean, that,
Yes.
Luke's going off on me here. And
What a concept.
yeah.
yeah.
He's a Browns
60
fan.
minutes? Wow.
Hey, Luke, boom, I got your girlfriend. Okay, enough. Yeah. It's called prevent defense, Mr. Goofhead. Yeah, that's what you call it. Prevent defense. That's
Yeah, it prevents you from winning the
Hey,
game.
you got to win every quarter.
That's been a saying for 30-something years.
God
Gary
damn.
Glanville coined it when he was still the Oilers coach.
Okay.
You know
Let's-
the Atlanta game was actually closer in score throughout the game, but I felt more confident in that one than I did in this one because of the stupid stuff they did in the second half. You know, you're waiting, just like you said, Moo. We're waiting for the other shoe to drop, for that touchdown to happen, onside kick, whatever, something stupid, and then you could just feel it. It was just that feeling of impending dread.
Now, J.A. Askew asked the question, just think, when was the last time the Browns only had to play 2 quarters to win a game? Well, it wasn't to win a game, but I've seen the Browns play 2 quarters lots of games. And that's my point.
Yep.
I mean, it starts, whistle to whistle, man, whistle to whistle. You've got to be involved and you've got to be intense. I don't remember all the years the Pittsburgh Steelers kicking our ass. I don't remember them just running the ball up the middle and letting us get closer, to feel better about ourselves. I don't remember that.
Up the middle, they were getting like 15, 20 yards of crack.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember that happening.
Bell.
I'm just saying, this is a beat 'em up league. This is the way it works. Let's get more positive, and we'll talk about and make a note how far we are into the program, so I can make a note on this. How long have we been on the air? I don't even know how long it's been. I have no way of keeping track of that, unfortunately. But we'll start more positivity for our chat room.
It's a damn shame we're such bitter bastards here, considering we won another game.
Oh no, I'm happy. No, don't get me wrong. I'm happy that we won, but you set an example with a young team, and the fact is these guys have been beaten up pretty bad. They've been through a lot this year with a bad head coach and with a bad play caller and offensive coordinator and dysfunction. And give them a chance to go out and just kind of blow it up, man. Give them a chance to have their really good week and to prove that they can do it from start to finish. And it's great that they won. The Detroit Lions will move forward in history as 26 in a row road team loss, and that's great. I'm thrilled about that. What the Browns have to do in coming weeks, is no, that's not why. Yeah. Luke is saying the dog is howling because of how sad you sound. No. That's not bitter truth, dog. That's your dog with your wife in the bedroom. Come on. You got to figure things out, man. You talk about my fucking headphones, dude. Damn. Come on.
Ooh. Hey, at least the dog's playing a full game, which is more than what our dogs did. Gee.
Oh. I'll tell you, Rover just gave
30 minutes short this week.
Yeah. Rover gave her a bone of his own. Oh.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrew.
Damn.
How many yards did we get in the second half?
Oh, well, if it wasn't for a 27-yard run and you take the 8-yard loss that Baker took at the end, I think in the entire second half we had 42 yards.
Yeah, it was sad. It was sad.
After over 200 in the first half.
And that's only 42 more than any of us had. We weren't even in the damn game.
See, the people aren't letting me be positive. All right, but I want to say what we have to do in order to start winning the games in coming weeks. First of all, you can't allow a team at any point to control the line of scrimmage, and Mixon was getting chunk plays off running plays, and you can't do that. You got to control the line of scrimmage. That's the first thing. Second of all, you have to find a way to have more effective blitzing, or if you're going to play zone schemes, you've got to figure out a way to get Myles Garrett to finish what he starts. And I get that he has the end around move and the duck move and all that. I get that, and I've seen him do the power rush, and I've seen him do that. But you've got to get in the passing lanes. You got to get in the quarterback's face. You got to try to alter the way he throws the football. You can't give him a direct line of vision. You've got to disrupt him somehow.
We got breaking news. Hue Jackson just took credit for the Bengals' second half performance, both offensively and defensively.
Got to go back and look at the tapes, though.
Apparently, he looked at the tape at halftime.
Well, hey,
tell him his bonus checks
will
in
he
the mail.
take credit for the record at Cleveland?
Oh no, that's everybody else's fault.
Now, wouldn't it be funny if this were like a Twilight Zone, okay? And Freddie Kitchens isn't really a person, but he's an app. and then in the second half, Todd Haley was operating the app. That would at least make sense to me.
Or if he pulls the mask off.
I wonder if he switched locker rooms at halftime.
Yeah, I mean,
so you're saying the mask off and it's Todd Haley. You go, surprise.
Yeah.
There's a hippie and a dog.
It's the Scooby-Doo ending, yeah.
Meddling kids.
Oh my God. Yeah. At any rate, that's the first thing we have to do is defensively, you have to sustain effort and control the line of scrimmage. Second of all, we've got to really, obviously, we have some defensive secondary guys like Brian Body Calhoun who aren't the best coverage guys. We have to really mix up our coverages and disguise things in the zone. We have to be really good like we were against Matty Ice. We've got to be that good. And I don't know what happened to Andy Dalton. I know he got hurt, but I don't know before that what Andy Dalton was. This didn't look like really. It looked like a shell of the Cincinnati team that started out the season. And I know they've had some injuries, but still, they look like a team that was shaken. Their faith was shaken. As far as the Browns' offense, go ahead.
I was just going to say, was it the same hand that Andy had? I think he broke his hand. Was it the same hand this time?
It's a thumb. It's a thumb. But I couldn't see how it happened. When I watched the play, it looked like guy stepped on his hand. That's the first thing that I saw, but I couldn't tell if it was the right hand or the left because he was kind of contorted, and I couldn't see, maybe when he went down for the ball, he bent the thumb back. When he hit the ground, with his hand extended like this, and he got his thumb bent back. I don't know. But
he wasn't happy, that's for sure.
Well, when they run off the field like that, what it reminded me of is who was it on the Browns last year? It seems to be that
Tyrod Taylor. Oh wait, no, never mind.
No. It was Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas. Remember when he just ran off the field?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You said, "My God, that had to be like a bullet in his head," because with the consecutive play streak. And he ran off the field. He knew he had done some serious damage there. And I think that's kind of what happened with Andy Dalton. As far as the offense is concerned, I liked the assortment of play calling in the first half of the game. I thought it was spot on. I think there was a mix of run. The run was less effective than the pass, but that's the way it's going to work some weeks. And we used a lot of wide receivers. We need to continue spreading the ball around. I want to eliminate all this end-around gadgetry. And I want to see, I was really happy to see them using Chubb in the passing game so that it's not so predictable that when Nick's in the lineup that he's just going to run the football, getting, full utility out of players. And he made a sensational catch that I'm still not sure was a touchdown catch.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I think.
But you know what? If they want to give it to us, I'm not going to argue.
No, but I don't know what a catch is anymore because later in the game, Cincinnati guy on the sidelines looked like he did the same exact thing, and they called it a not a catch. I don't know what a reception is in the NFL anymore. I really don't know.
I don't think they do either.
Maybe this is the start because I had a feeling that once Baker Mayfield was able to prove that he could play, I kind of got the feeling that the NFL were going to, like, quote unquote, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning him, where he starts getting favorable calls.
Well, maybe.
Wait. Let's see what happens the next time he gets hit in the head or hit when he's sliding. Let's see if they actually throw the flag, because it was some calls in that game for us that shouldn't have went, especially that touchdown. That was not a touchdown.
Well, we don't have LeBron anymore, so we got to get something like that. How's that?
Oh, get this. Joe Askew in the chat is saying analysis. Cleveland Browns carve out next layer of rock bottom for the Bengals. That's from the Cincinnati Enquirer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Between that and the Freep talking about the Ohio State-Michigan game last week. This has been a beautiful weekend, I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, what I want to know is then
I know it.
If this is just the next layer of rock bottom, what could be worse than losing at home to the Browns? Somebody explain this to me. What is the next layer?
Having Hue Jackson as your head coach.
That's the only thing I can think of.
He was the head coach.
Is losing your next game 62-0 and then have Hue Jackson do a striptease on the Jumbotron. That would be the only next layer.
While trying to find the challenge flag.
Hey, Mr. Moohead, you guys went 4-0 this weekend. Browns won, Cavs won both games, Ohio State won.
Yeah, and here I am complaining, right? And I know the number of people are kind of pissed off, but I mean, I have high expectations. I mean, people asked me before the season began, and they said, hey, look, what are you looking for? And I'm looking for this kind of improvement, but I want to see that start to finish drive. I want to see, I think every fan who's been a fan of the Browns since they came back in 1999, every person wants to see a pound of flesh extracted from our divisional opponents because we've just been so bad. And I think that
they should.
Yeah. And I don't really, it's not like I just wanted to crush the Cincinnati Bengals. It's that I just wanted to be able to let the team, first
crush Hue Jackson.
No, when we're up 35-7, and then if we get another score, 2 scores, and we're up 49, then let Tyrod Taylor come in. Don't even have your young quarterback on the field. You say to everybody, great work.
They'll find a way to blow it.
Yeah, you put Dontrell Hilliard in the game. You just say, hey, look, you did a great job. Congratulations, everybody. And let them bask in the glory,
Is that why Garrett was out a lot in the second half, or was there just some other reason that they were trying to get Zettel in or whatever, or what was the deal with that? Because it seemed like the announcers, I actually had it synced up to the radio, and it seemed like they were talking about how often Garrett was not in the second half.
I think he was getting gassed.
Yeah, he's basically on a play count.
Well, and plus they were on the field constantly in the second half, which again is a good way to get injured. Even though it's after a bye, that's a good way to hurt your players. When you don't get the first downs with your offense and let your defense rest, then that's what you're gonna run into. Now, Cindy Sanders is saying, did you see Baker's reaction when Hue shook his hand after the game? No.
Oh my God, I saw it. He had the reaction. Fuck you look on his face.
Seriously?
Yes. He sort of backed away.
All right, slow down. I want each person on the panel, one at a time. First. Okay, who saw the reaction on the panel?
I did.
And Rick did. Okay.
I didn't.
Okay, neither did I, because I was getting the show ready here. So
I'm gonna tell you what I saw. It looked like, because they showed Hue Jackson throughout the whole game, but they showed him running to go and, congratulate players. And the first person he went for was Baker. And it looked like Baker was trying to get away from him, like he saw him out of his periphery. So he tried to get away from him.
Oh, my gosh.
So Hue Jackson, he had no choice but to acknowledge Hue Jackson. And he had this deadpan, sneering type of look in his face, like, like good game. And he quit. He did a two handshake and then bounced out. He quickly turned around and got away from him.
Yeah, what I love about it is Baker is known for his escapability when pressured. So he kind of went into that mode. Rick, what did you see? Give us your take on that.
Pretty much what he said. Hugh came over, shook hands with Baker, and Baker just sort of backed away, and looked like he had that look on his face, like, boy, I wish I had some Purell. And then he just got off screen as quickly as he could. It's like, okay, nice talking to you. Enjoy your swim in the Ohio River.
He doesn't want to get seen with you anymore.
And Cindy said that Baker mean mugged him real bad.
Did he? Yeah. Well, obviously that's what she was saying, and that's exactly the impression she got. And the announcers even commented on it. Mark Ross is saying, did anyone on the panel hear that?
I was listening to the.
I had it muted.
I only listen to the radio while I'm watching it, so I didn't hear it.
Yeah,
I don't recall them saying anything. They may have, but I don't recall hearing it.
Yeah, because I like Jim Donovan. So
one of those, pull the hand away kind of thing at the last second.
Now, Joe Fox said, just watched. He wanted no part of Hue. So you recorded this, and I would love to see that. I
want to go back and look at the tapes.
Yeah.
I got to quote Hue Jackson.
Yeah. So he's running it back like this Zapruder film, back into the left, back into the left. There you go.
And he was Baker mean mugged you. He's going to be like, I got to go back and check the tapes because I don't remember.
That is just priceless. Yeah. So was Baker trying to get away from you? It's like, I'll have to go back and check out the tapes.
Remember Oliver Stone on SNL when he did the back and forth when George H.W. puked in Japan? He kept rolling it back and forth as soon as the puke kept going back in and out of his mouth.
And somebody's saying, Google it. Oh, here we go. It's already up. Let's see what I got here. I'm going to see.
Where is it on YouTube already? Let me see.
Oh, I wouldn't say that's that bad. I got this up here.
It was kind of like, I don't want any part of you. Thanks anyway.
Kind of like,
you know what it was kind of like?
Looked like
it kind of reminded me of a contestant on the, and I put the link up so that you can see it if you didn't see it.
Yeah.
Somebody who loses a game show on television, and that look that the game show host says, here's your copy of the home game.
Just get me out of here.
Yeah, that's it.
How the hell did you come up with that answer?
Or you leave your job and go to a new job, and then you run into your old manager. It's kind of like that. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're still a loser, dude.
It's like seeing an old girlfriend.
Did you guys see the Reddit post where the guy, whoever it was, I thought it was on Reddit, where somebody actually made tapes of all the games and mailed them to Hue? They actually made cassette tapes and actually mailed them FedEx to Hue.
Oh, that is great.
I'll have to find that for you guys and bring it up. So I'll send you a link, Moo, and we'll have to show. It was awesome. I'm like, and they actually had the tracking. He actually had the tracking. You could actually find it, but it wasn't supposed to get delivered till like tomorrow. So.
Yeah, and Chandler Frisbee, another Frisbee. We have multiple Frisbee sightings.
Yeah.
Did the Browns stop once they got far enough ahead, or did they get stopped? And the answer is they stopped because there was no diversity in their play calling whatsoever. So, Ron Oros is asking, how about a chance at a wild card? Look, we're 4-6-1. The Ravens just went to 6-5. Yeah. And the odds are, of course, that that's not going to happen.
Oh, you asked me what could possibly be worse? You could have John Gruden as your coach and GM.
Oh my God.
Trade away all your best players.
I love it.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
And Blake Bortles is your quarterback.
AJ Green for a box of Twinkies?
Wait a minute. Wait, it's my karaoke moment. It's the sad, sad truth. The dirty low down. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Yeah. Well,
Roxanne, backing vocals.
So, here's the deal. What do the Browns have to do to beat the Texans? And they got to stop the forward pass. And it's not going to be easy. Is there any word on our starting, the guy who broke his wrist? I've forgotten his name because we didn't see him nearly enough.
Gaines?
No.
The defensive back?
Yeah. Mitchell. Any word on him?
Mitchell.
He's been released, but he's not scheduled to start until December 9th. That's the game with Carolina.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, we're stuck with what we have, which means more zone coverage. And boy, I hate to see soft zone coverage against Watson, but it's going to be a real challenge for this team. But I don't see the fact that we were 2-2-1, and then we had to put up with that all the horrible dysfunction and had the 4 losses in a row. But now that we've rebounded with 2 wins, everything that I wanted to see in that regard is taking shape. And I just felt disappointed that I would reward Baker with the opportunity to score at least one more time before going into shutdown mode. I mean, Tyrod Taylor can hand the ball off just as well as Baker can, or
run for 25 yards.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the role of the backup quarterback, is that you get mop up time, but
he had 3 touchdowns going in halftime.
Yeah. Now, Daniel DiMaria says, Panthers, our defense will destroy them. I'm not real big on the quarterbacking situation there. It's never really worked out with Cam Newton the way that I think everybody thought it was going to work out. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But, they're a quality football team from week to week, and none of these are easy games. The back half of the Browns schedule is difficult. Everybody knows that. And Mark Ross is correct. Had that cheat loss against the Raiders not taken place, which was a robbery,
yes,
then we'd be looking at 5-5-1, and then suddenly the fact that the Ravens are 6-5 and we've got another one coming with them, I mean, then you'd have more to talk about. You really would. But, it's I hate to go back in time and complain about a loss, but I don't consider that game a loss. And can the Browns stop the passing of Watson? It's the only way that the Browns win these games is with turnovers. They've got to get their hands on the ball, and they're going to give up yardage. The secondary is going to give up yardage, but they've got to, and we did manage to get some takeaways today. So, I mean, that's a good thing. But that's going to be imperative when you're playing teams that will not beat themselves, teams that will not implode. Then I think that's what you have to do. You have to take victory. It's not going to be given to you. So,
yeah, my Texans have been the last 3 wins we got were by combined 4 points. So we've won against the Broncos barely, against the Redskins barely. So we've been scrapping through a lot of games. So you guys could beat us. I mean,
I really think it'll come down to the ability to stop the Texans on third down. I think the Browns can do it. It's just a matter of being able to. You have to maximize your negative plays against the Texans, like dragging Watson down, forcing him to throw bad passes, and of course those turnovers that you mentioned. They've got to do that.
You're going to have to get Deshaun pressured a lot because he's going to be able to slip out. And if you don't get him and hit him, he's going to break off and 15, 20-yard run every time. You got to stay consistent and hit him.
Yeah, I think this is where you have Garrett. What's the other guy on the other side?
Well, I'll tell you, a guy as big as Deshaun Watson
have to seal the edge.
Yeah, for me, the problem with the rule change in the NFL is big, strong quarterbacks. The tendency is for defensive linemen now to be laying off quarterbacks because of the risk of late hit flags. And when you have Colt McCoy who turns his back and drops to the ground like a little weenie, that's easy to sack a guy like that who turns his back to the rush. But a big, strong guy who can break tackles, you got to drive through him. And that's a problem. That's a problem with today's rule changes. We drive through the quarterback to bring a big man down. You might get flagged for it. So you got to keep your, you're going to have to accept those kinds of flags and penalties in order to play a quarterback of that size. He's a strong guy.
Yeah, but Watson has had 5 turnovers in the last 2 games, so it's possible that y'all put the pressure on him, you get the sacks, and you force him to make bad throws, you force him to throw turnovers. I notice especially when he's trying to throw in between 2 defenders, Watson's like less than 20% or something completion rate, and I read some weird stat on that. So if he's throwing in deep coverage and he's trying to throw the ball in a small window, he for some reason, if he's not throwing to Hopkins, he's either making bad throws or he's getting turnovers. So you guys have a good chance.
Say what?
He's breaking up.
Your microphone was breaking up there, Steven. That didn't catch your last words.
I said you guys got a good chance to beat us if you can put the pressure on Deshaun Watson.
All right. Now, in the chat room, Perfnotch asking me and us, would you trade Baker for any other quarterback in the NFL as your franchise quarterback?
No,
not right now.
Right now, no. I mean, and again, I'm looking at, the box score. I mean, Buffalo beat Jacksonville. It does get worse, Jacksonville. That's another new layer of rock bottom. Blake Bortles, 12 of 23 for 127 yards. Josh Allen, 8 of 19 for 160 yards. No, I don't want Allen, and I don't want Darnold, even though he's not playing right now. He's hurt. I don't want that.
He's terrible.
Yeah, I'm not impressed. And
you got to be impressed with the way that Mayfield's getting the ball out of there. I mean, good grief. He, once he decides where he's going to go, that ball is snapping out of there. This litany of crappy quarterbacks we've had over the years that would float balls out there that didn't have enough arm strength. I mean, it's such a nice feeling that the ball's going to get there. The question is he almost throwing it too hard for somebody to catch? And now it seems like these guys have figured it out. And they're getting a hold of the ball. But that thing comes out of there like a rocket, and he's just it's such a nice feeling to get it in there, and you have a feeling that no matter where he's at, he can nail somebody down the field.
I don't understand ESPN. I'm looking at the different scores of the game to see what happened around the league. But this, they have the little recaps. The game recap, and the headline says, Pat Shurmur sucks donkey dick, finds new way to lose. Football Giants suck. Now, that's just not acceptable. I'm sorry. That's not an acceptable kind of thing.
And that's an insult to all the donkeys out there.
Yeah, and Carson Wentz did pull the fat out of the fire, but barely. So,
as the resident Equine, I definitely have to say that's discriminatory language on their part.
Yeah. Well, I never use the term horse shit either. So I want you to know that I try to be good about that. I think in the end we should be happy the team won 4-6 right now, and I consider it a 5-5 season. Somebody asked me at the beginning of the year, would you be happy with 500? I said, are you kidding? I'd be thrilled with 500. And then they said, would you be happy if Baker Mayfield got a chance to play? And I said, yeah, I'd be really happy that if he would play the back quarter of the season. That's why I figured, when all was lost, they'd give the rookie a chance. I'm thrilled that he's getting as much under center experience as he's getting. I think that that's a tremendous plus for the team. Mm-hmm. I still think we need help at wide receiver. I think Callaway played a great first half. Njoku did too. I have nothing against these young men, but I still think that Jarvis Landry needs somebody who's somebody who can really stretch the field to make him a more effective weapon over the middle, because they're just laying on him. They're double teaming him everywhere he goes. And
plus the experience that he's getting is actually positive.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Derek.
I was going to say, I think it's very impressive to me how Baker's coming in as a rookie, filling in for, Tyrod. And I think we all knew that Baker's a better quarterback to start. But with the wide receiver talent that he has coming in, and he's able to spread the ball out, looking like a veteran every week. If you're listening to the commentary, they're constantly saying, he's looking like a veteran. He's slipping out. He's buying time. He's finding the open guy. So I think, if he gets a top-tier receiver to go along with Jarvis, watch out, because he can light it up.
Well, another thing that was different this week, and somebody's saying, would you say something positive, please, Mr. Moohead? I was like, I will. I will say something positive. I'm not going to make any comments about Rover and people's wives either. I'm going to be very nice now. When Baker Mayfield threw the touchdown pass to Darren Fells in the end zone, and he also threw a touchdown pass to Callaway in the end zone, they were both plays in which Baker's legs extended the play. That's not unusual. What's unusual is that the receiver found an open spot in the coverage to run to, and the quarterback and the receiver were on the same page. Normally, Baker would extend a play, throw a ball to the spot where the receiver was supposed to be, and the receiver wouldn't be there. But on 2 touchdowns, his legs extended the play, but the chemistry between he and Callaway, he and Fells, it made a huge difference. On the play in which Njoku, how he got into the end zone. I mean, if I were Marvin Lewis, I would be saying my defense, a man leaves his feet at the 5-yard line after he catches the ball. If you can't drive him backwards, I mean, Sir Isaac Newton understands the physics of the situation, but somehow he gets into the end zone. You're not trying hard enough. But what I will say is, he blocked somebody at the line of scrimmage and peeled off, and that ball was on Njoku so quickly, but he was ready for it. So these are things that I see that are improvements in communication between the quarterback and the receivers, and chemistry starting to be developed between young players. And that's exciting to me, because having a quarterback who extends plays is a great thing, but you've got to be in sync with your wide receivers, and making big plays and getting good yardage chunks downfield. When you have a quarterback who's escapable is a great thing, but only when they're used to playing with the wide receivers and vice versa. I think that was the hugest growth. It was the difference between 3-point attempts, which are not certainties for the Cleveland Browns. They're not 3-point makes, they're 3-point attempts. And 7 points every time that we needed to score, we scored touchdowns. One other thing, if I were a Cincinnati fan, I'd be looking for a new kicker. There's first of all, missing an extra point's bad enough, but that's the 3rd field goal this guy's gotten blocked when they try to go for 50-yard field goals, and the guy is kicking them really low. So, maybe they can get the Browns.
Who got their hand on that?
Garrett.
Was it Denzel who got his hand on that?
Garrett, supposedly.
Oh, no. Are you just giving him credit for that? Bitter?
No, it was Miles Garrett.
No.
That's who they gave it to on the radio.
Oh, okay. All right. So I just want to make sure that the apologist there isn't. The The quote from Myles Garrett after the game.
Wait, okay, so
65, 95. Yeah, they kind of look the
I
same.
want to come back to the statement you made about chemistry. If you notice in this game, as chippy as the Bengals were, and on that touchdown by Njoku, you saw something that you didn't see in like almost 19 years with this Browns team, which means they were actually out there playing for each other, because that was the offensive line that helped him get into the end zone. They just moved the pile. When's the last time you've seen the Browns with another player do that? Throw a great block, make a great tackle, defend a teammate. I mean, I still take it back to when Antonio Brown kicked our punter in the face, and I'm like, why didn't he get his ass kicked right then and there on the field? Everybody just walked away like nothing happened. And I'm like, try that now. Greg Williams has this team. I know you hate him. He has this team playing as a unit.
Yeah.
I get
but not with any killer instinct.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Derek.
I don't know if you guys seen this quote. I mean, this is with the Ohio State-Michigan game, but Urban made a comment. He said, you don't play for the hatred of the guys on the other side of the ball. You play for the brothers who are on your side, and you win for them. And I feel like that's how this Browns team is starting to come together as a unit with all the, crap that's going on. I feel like they're starting to play together and make something happen positive.
Yeah, I feel bad for Urban Meyer's wife, because he came home again and said, "Not tonight, honey. I got a headache." Come on!
That was darkly funny. But I think this is last year.
I have a headache.
Last year as Ohio State's head coach.
It doesn't Ohio State play Northwestern? Oh, y'all guys play Northwestern, right? Next week.
Yeah, I think after the
hey, this to me.
Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, I agree. I think, to me, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying Ohio State should be in the playoffs, but come on. You look at 2014, this almost looks like a replay. But I'd tell you, as far as Urban, I wouldn't be surprised if he was out.
Yeah, I feel bad.
No better way of going out than
winning your bowl game.
Yeah. No better way of going out than 7-0 against Michigan.
So you don't see him making it to next season?
Boy.
I think he's going to retire because of health reasons, like he did when he left Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I see him on the sidelines, and honestly, I mean, look, none of these college coaches are particularly my favorite people because of what they're doing and how they're profiting from it. But he is in bad shape physically. I mean, he's not, this is not prima donna shit. He's in pain, and it's hard to watch him crouched over on the sidelines wincing. I mean, it's really, really hard to watch that. And, and the thing is, I don't know enough about his medical condition, that what the cyst is, but it is not something that can be removed. And if it's growing in size, it's not a tumor, it's a cyst, but the pain must be absolutely horrific. And I just, and you put that with the stress. I was thinking, God, they've barely gotten by in some of their games this year. And it's like, this is the big one against Michigan. And it's like the pressure that is on Urban Meyer to deliver in a game like this, that doesn't help his health either. And I agree with what Bitter Truth said. I said, he stepped down at Florida and cited health reasons. And I think his health is worse now than it was when he was at Florida. That's
how long until Jim Harbaugh is out of Michigan? How long till Jim Harbaugh is out of Michigan, not beating Ohio State yet?
They keep trying to get rid of Harbaugh, but I mean, if Urban Meyer really does step down, why would you get rid of Harbaugh? Because now it's wide open for you.
I don't think you should get rid of him.
I've heard that
there was 1 year.
Go ahead.
There was 1 year that Michigan should have won. It's this year. You got the number 4 team, the number 1 defense, and Ohio State lit them up. And I don't think there was anybody in the world who's seen this coming.
It was
unbelievable.
Michigan coach had the best record against Ohio State?
Lloyd Carr.
That's right, Lloyd Carr. Who remembers Lloyd Carr?
Who was he coaching again? Cooper.
Oh, Cooper.
Yeah. He couldn't even beat Michigan. The only time he ever beat Michigan was as the Arizona State head coach.
Yeah, Cooper, his dreams ended.
Bet.
Yeah, his fucking dreams ended losing to Michigan. That's what he dreamed. I mean, but again, are they going to get rid of Harbaugh? You know what gets rid of Harbaugh? If you don't win the big game, that's part of what gets rid of him. The other thing is he is a grating individual who is very difficult to deal with.
Harbaugh gets rid of Harbaugh.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And he has a personality disorder, seriously.
Oh, he's psycho.
Yeah.
He's
and
psycho.
He may wind up showing himself out the door.
The only good thing I can say that makes him a really good college coach compared to what he would be as a pro coach is that professionally players will spend many years on an NFL team, whereas football players just a couple of years. And if you're just exposed to him for a couple of years, you're happy to get the fuck away from him, but you don't have to play for him anymore. In the pros, when he was a professional coach, I mean, the players were like, I'm so sick of this act because the act just never changes. He treats you like you're a first-year player. If you're a fifth-year player, he's just like got this OCD thing going on, and he's very hard to handle.
Hey, Mr. Moohead.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you? I don't know if you've heard this story, but I heard a story. I don't know what year it was, but Jim Harbaugh went to a recruit's house and stayed the night. I believe it was like in a tree house or something like that, just to get him to come to Michigan. And he was a kicker.
Yeah, urban myth that.
Yeah, he slept on his floor.
Yeah.
In the kid's room.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird.
What is that?
Yeah, I know.
That's Nick Saban level crazy.
I thought he brought a tiny house with him and parked it in the
Here's you asleep yet? No? Okay, just checking.
hey, Mr. Moohead, what spot do you see
You
Ohio
gonna
State?
come to Michigan? No.
Mr. Moohead, what rank do you see the committee moving Ohio State? Do you think they're going to get 4 after this win against Michigan, or do you think they'll go slightly under?
I just don't.
No, they'll probably be 6th.
You know, I see that Alabama's playing Georgia, but Georgia's only occupying the 5th position, and Georgia will get blown out by Alabama, and they could drop from there. But you're looking at the 4 teams.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope it's an upset. I'm so sick of Alabama.
I think we all are, but
you got Alabama's still going to.
That takes Ohio State out of it, though.
Yeah. You see
you got to root for Alabama, and you got to root
as
for
a Buckeye fan.
The chance Ohio State has.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, Derek, is all you have to say is Purdue. All you have to say to me is Purdue, and no Ohio State fan can be upset if they don't make the top 4. No one can complain.
In the room here drove all the way to West Lafayette for that.
You were there.
Ooh, God. It's bad enough being in West Lafayette. It's bad enough.
Yeah, that's what my son said.
Oh my God!
Hey, Mr. Moohead, in the future,
it's only slightly down from Terre Haute, though.
Oh God, the asshole of the world. God Almighty!
Mr. Moohead, in the next 3 or 4 years, do you see them expanding the playoffs to 8?
Well, I think that the more I could see them, possibly shortening the season.
They need
and accommodating that way, perhaps. But why I feel so bad for UCF because of Milton McKenzie. I feel bad about the fact that they're 11-0 and that they aren't even being considered for this stuff. And a team that has lost to Purdue, and not just lost to Purdue, but it lost in astoundingly crushing fashion, that you have a fan base that is saying we should be number 4. And, you have a team that had won 23 consecutive games, and doesn't get an opportunity. That kind of sits wrong with me. But I think any of the number 4 teams are going to be a little bit tainted. The top 3 teams are secure if they win out, but the 4th team.
Their quarterback broke her leg.
I think it was a catastrophic knee injury, is what I heard.
But the kid that came in and relieved him actually did a heck of a good job.
Quarterback, yeah.
I mean,
well, that's better than coming in and relieving yourself. Yeah.
They were playing USF. I mean, the last time the starting quarterback got injured on a team that made the tournament, what happened? It was Ohio State. And
Mr. Moohead, assuming if y'all make the fourth seed, can you? I want to ask the panel: do you think you guys can beat Alabama in round one?
No, that would be a one and done.
Oh, okay.
They
Y'all don't
actually
see
have
no
a chance
chance.
to play.
Well, let me say something.
Go ahead.
Eric.
Okay. So I said the sky is the limit, okay? But you can't keep the Buckeye colored glasses on. You got to be realistic. But the last time Ohio State played Alabama, I know it's a different team, but the last time Ohio State played Alabama, everybody looked at it as Alabama's going to wipe the floor with Ohio State. They have no chance. So, and everybody looked at that and thought Michigan was going to wipe the floor with them. So, realistically, I don't think there's a chance. But, I mean, you never know. I've seen crazier things happen.
Look, I mean, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, nobody expected Ohio State to beat Michigan and put 62 on them. All right. Nobody expected that. And nobody saw that coming. So, but the fact is, things can deteriorate quickly for 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. I mean, you know, the unbeatable thing, I mean, there is always the chance that Alabama would play a lousy game in a critical moment. It is possible, you know. That's
Got to
why
get through Northwestern first.
Yeah,
It's also a very long time until we get to that point. I mean, once you get past this next weekend's games, there's that whole month off with these teams.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a real long, you know,
like
period.
5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. They start the bowl games on the 14th.
Yeah, but the playoffs won't start until you know,
January.
New Year's Day. Yeah, so,
January 5th.
There's that long lull where, you know, who knows what happens when teams have a chance to game plan or do something, or some kid gets in trouble or some kid steps up. I mean, you know, if Ohio State plays a game like they did play yesterday, they could beat anybody. I mean, honestly, that was an amazing performance. But, you know, is that going to happen with a team that's as multidimensional as Alabama is? When you look at Tua,
look, unless triskaidekaphobia trips and falls into a wood chipper, I really don't see how. And they force Jalen, who hurts the team.
Oh, that's Brian trying to be funny.
Triskaidekaphobia. That's what I call Tua.
Tonga Vailoa.
Never
for you to say.
All right, here's I'm getting a quote. Hold on here from Joe Askew in the chat room. This is obviously Baker Mayfield after the game regarding Hue Jackson. It was just somebody that was in our locker room asking for us to play for him and then goes to a different team you play twice a year. Everybody can have their spin on it, but that's how I feel.
I think it was a big suck at Hugh.
He feels betrayed.
And by the way, you know, for bitter truth, Myles Garrett was asked if he's having fun. He smiled and shook his head. I'd be having a lot more fun if I didn't miss so many sacks. Thank you.
I can believe that. He did miss some sacks. I'm not going to lie about that.
Thank you. I mean, so he realizes what's going on. And, you know what the most important play is, and that's the next play you make. Yeah. Put this behind, and you never know. If we're fighting somehow for a playoff life this year or next year or whatever it is, and he makes a big play, then nobody's going to remember the one that he missed on a backup quarterback in Cincinnati. All right, I'm aware of that. So
it's been a hell of a lot more fun than the last 24 months before it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Moon, I know you got a humbling feeling about the whole thing, but if the Browns beat the Texans this week, do you think when people see the Browns on the schedule, and do you think the Browns reach that threshold in terms of teams look at them and say, "Oh shit, you know, the Browns are playing us this week instead of the same old Browns"? Or do you think
you don't mark it as a W on your calendar anymore? Let's just put it that way. It becomes a coin toss.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's what I see even with the Cavaliers. I mean, they just beat the Sixers and the Rockets in succession. That's a wake-up call to the league that you're just not going to mail it in and beat them. Not now. And
look good in the Rockets game, by the way.
And that's what the Browns are right now. If you mail in a performance, you're going to get your ass handed to you. That's what it amounts to. Guys, I got to get off the air because it's already at 5:30, and this has been going on for some time. But, God, what a great panel we have here with the Bitter Truth, with Bronk there, with Brian, with Derek, with Jim Hammer, who I haven't spoken to in ages, and Rick and Steven. My goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a panel of 7.
Panel at 8, including you, and this we one short of what would have been the maximum amount. This is the highest you ever had in any of your panels.
Wow.
I haven't
Yeah,
been
that
on
was
the
baseball
panel
team.
because I was sick. I had no
I'm
voice.
just glad I figured out how to get on.
My video.
Once you're on, Derek, you're on, and you're
There's
officially.
no turning back.
Yeah.
Hey, the new cow has to moo. He has to moo. the
Oh,
new
that's
cow.
right, Derek. You have to moo.
You have to moo.
Ooh.
Yep, there you go.
Sound like a dog.
No, that's the guy. That's the other guy and his wife. I mean, no.
Yeah, he's still in the bedroom.
You got to give a full bodied moo though, and a full bodied moo. I mean, just gonna go moo. Yeah, give him. Go ahead, Derek.
You want a full body moo?
Everybody's got to do a move. Everybody has to do a move.
Yep.
Except me.
All right.
And I'm a horse.
The Russian judges give you 9.6.
That's the blood initiation. And bitter truth, you've never mooed.
I haven't moved. I don't have the voice for
I
it.
did it. You got to move.
I'll give it a shot.
The reason I didn't press you, bitter truth, is because the pair of jugs behind you. I just like the view whenever you call in.
I think that was a castrator there.
It makes him dream of being a younger calf.
Yeah, back many years ago when all the body parts functioned. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to a victorious post-game show. And thanks to everybody on the panel. And you're all invited to come back. You all know that anytime you want to jump in. We do shows on Mondays and Fridays. The links are always up. If you want to jump in, that's the name of the game. And young guys like Derek who want to get, Derek wants to have a career doing broadcasts, and this is the way we're going to initiate him, is by making him moo and humiliate him on the internet.
I apologize if I seem like I interrupted, because my headphones, when you guys were talking, it was cutting in and out. I got AirPods and it's Bluetooth, so half the time it was cutting in and out. So I apologize if I seem like I was interrupting.
No, not at all. And there is a slight delay, too, depending on how fast your connection is. So that isn't your fault at all. Guys, thanks a lot for joining me on the post-game show. We'll be back again tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with the next installation or installment or episode or whatever of Moohead Radio. Thanks.
Moocast.
I'll be looking forward to that. I'll be looking forward to that.
All right. All right, man. Take it easy. And until next time, hasta la vista, faster heads. Good night.